So how do you create an IDP? The first step is to self-assess and reflect on your progress. When we say self-assessment, what we really mean is kind of thinking about what you need to do moving forward. Right? How has your progress in your research been going? What skills have you been developing?
Self-assessment is really important as you continue along your trajectory in a lab specifically, because your needs change over time. So when you're in a lab, you basically look for a project that is going to fit your needs and fit your interests. So you have to basically know what those are. But those needs and interests also evolve over time. And so you have to constantly be asking yourself certain questions in terms of what motivates you as a scientist, what types of questions you feel good about answering, and the skills that you need to answer them.
One of the hardest elements of self-assessment is thinking about your own skills. Some of the things you might want to consider are your research skills and technical skills and scientific knowledge. And your graduate program or postdoctoral training are designed to help you develop those skills as a researcher. You'll also be developing particular technical skills. If you want to move into a different type of methodology, for example, you may need to develop technical skills in those areas. If you want to move into a different discipline, you may need to build some knowledge and do some reading in that area.
I basically started out as a pure experimentalist. What I did basically in the lab was take some DNA sequences, modify them, put them into flies, and then see what they do. And that allows you to answer very targeted questions, but in terms of figuring out kind of bigger picture issues, using that as a foundation, I realized I had to get some more experience in bioinformatics and genome manipulation. And so I talked about that type of approach with Angela during our yearly planning meetings, which we have every single year. And we decided together that I needed to get a particular skill and that I needed to apply it to a specific problem. And so I did a lot of research and I talked to a lot of collaborators in bioinformatics, and that analysis that I ended up doing basically is currently the thing that I'm proudest of in grad school. The fact that I was able to seek out a new skill set and then apply it to the research in order to further the project itself.
There's also a whole other set of skills that I want you to remember, which are professional skills. Professional skills I think of as being communication skills with colleagues, being able to present effectively, being able to write and communicate in written form. These professional skills are extremely important for scientists. In fact, what we often hear from employers is that professional skills are the key skills that they feel that PhDs might be weakest in. So if there are any sets of skills that we need to really focus on for our future careers, it may be working on professional skills, which will again benefit our training as graduate students or postdocs, but also benefit us in our future careers.
I didn't really learn how to write a paper until I began my own career here at Berkeley. One of my first papers, which I had a colleague of mine communicate to the PNAS, I struggled with it because I hadn't developed a good style. He had it reviewed by other people, and then he called me to his office after about a month, and he threw the paper down on his desk, and he said, "Who wrote this paper?" And I said, "I did." And he said, "You've got a lot to learn about the English language." It was brutal, but great advice. And so he then patiently went through the paper with me, and we rewrote it so that it was intelligible. I was so sort of embarrassed that I hired, at that point, a scientific writer to help me over the next year with my grants and my papers. The editor that I hired helped me with basic grammar and making things understood and logical flow. It's now second nature to me, and I've written so much now that it's not a chore anymore.
In addition to skills and experience, you may also need a network specific to your career of interest. Now, you might think as a scientist that you don't need a network, but in fact, scientists network all the time. That's what we do when we go to conferences. That's what we do when we go to social hours on our campuses. That's what we do when we even sit on study sections or review papers. We're building our professional network. So you'll need to do that for any type of career path that you want to move into. Often, people hire based on what they hear about a person. And so if you have a direct connection to someone, you're more likely to get a position. Developing a network and developing some of these skills can take quite a long time. So even as an early stage student, you should think about small steps that you can take from the beginning of your training moving forward, so that those small steps can then add up later on to leave you ready to move into your next career step.